What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, people? Hope all are doing well and you're having a blessed day, afternoon, or evening. Whenever you come across this reading or this message or this video, this is not a, excuse me, collective. I haven't even started and I'm already, dreading having this conversation. I haven't even got started and I'm already dreading having this conversation, but this conversation got to be talked about. So I'm going to let you know ahead of time that I might start crying in the video. So just a heads up, a warning. This is going to be one of these triggering emotional videos. I don't really do any of these. I haven't really done any of these. But it's time for me to really open up and stop talking about my past in bits and pieces. Or stop talking about certain people in bits and pieces and actually sit down and do some type of storytelling. So this is me today. Doing some storytelling and addressing. I can't even talk right now. I don't know if this is my energy or it's my mother's right now. But I'm on here to address mother wounds. And the reason why I'm addressing it is because my mother just wowed me. My mother just wowed me right now. And I'm not going to lie, it hurt. I ain't gonna lie. It'll hurt a little bit. But I started laughing because I'm like, wow. My mother's main mind frame is the way she thinks about me is so sad. And I keep my mother in my prayers. And I'm always sending her healing and wishing her that she heals and wishing her that she can heal from her unhealed trauma. But the way my mother views me and thinks about me is, wow. And I get on here and I talk about her and I put her on this pedestal. Like my mother's a strong person and I learned from her. And the reason why I'm like this is because of her. And my mother degrades me, belittles me, and doesn't hear me, and doesn't even know her own daughter. My mind is completely blown. Oh, I gotta laugh. My mind is blown. When I tell you my mind is blown with this last email that my mother sent me. It's crazy. And I have them. And I've been having them for a long time. And it's took me a long time. A long time. When I tell you a long time. To, how can you say? It took me a long time to accept the fact that I was not going to be loved by my mother the way I needed to. It took me a long time to come to the fact that she is the way she is. And I make excuses for her sometimes. I make excuses for her because maybe, you know, she has her own trauma. She has her own unhealed trauma from her mama. She's a military person, so she has unhealed wounds from being in the military and going through that and experiencing that. You know what I'm saying? So I have taken a lot of things into consideration when it comes to my mother's behavior. Me thinking that maybe it's just her experience, maybe it's just her job. You know what I'm saying? I've taken a lot of things into consideration as an adult now. You know, as a teenager, you don't take anything into consideration. You a teenager. You're going to act wild. You're going to rebel. You're going to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be a teenager. But as I sit here and think about my past and growing up and everything, damn, knew certain things about me and still treated me like I was the bad child. And it's crazy. And I didn't want to think that my mother has anything to do with this. And I didn't want to think that my mother is the one that's sending me shit. But it's like the things that's coming out of her mouth, the things that she's saying, the things that she has said to me throughout time. Hey, the things that she has said to me throughout me growing up is like, my mother views me as such a, I don't know. And I came out of her. So if I came out of her and she views me like this, that means that's who she is then. She's projecting how she feels. She's projecting herself onto me, and that's how she is. Anyway, this is why this conversation don't end up going nowhere, because I'm scattered when I'm talking about my mother. It's very scattered because I've gone through a lot when it comes to my mother. As a child, obviously everybody knows I'm gifted, I'm emotional, you know, I'm an empath. So as a child, obviously I'm gifted. I was born with this. So I was a highly sensitive and emotional child. I cried a lot. I was scared of everything. Okay? I was like a needy child. And I'm remembering that. And I'm not saying that my mother wasn't a good mother. I'm not taking anything that she has done from her. My mother was a hard worker. My mother worked 2 or 3 jobs. I want to cry, but I don't. Because collective, I'm so tired of crying. Y'all have no idea. I'm exhausted. But let me try to continue. I'm not trying to take away from my mother. She was a very strong person. A single mom that raised 2 daughters. She worked hard. She was barely home because she was always working. So my mother made sure that we had a roof over our heads and food to eat. And she showed us how to make something out of nothing. So I'm not going to take that from her, because I am that. Part of what how I was raised, I am part of that. I am a strong person. I make something out of nothing. You know? So I'm not saying that I didn't get any good aspects from her and things like that. I did. My mother showed me that she was a hard worker. My mother showed me that she made sure she was going to provide for hers. She made sure that we were not homeless. She made sure we had food to eat. She just made sure. We had some type of form of entertainment. We were not spoiled, but she did what she could. My mother was a crafter, so she loved Halloween. She would make our Halloween costumes. We were real good. We were real heavy into arts and craft. And so she was a crafter. So I got that from her too, you know. So I'm not saying my mother was a bad person, but even growing up, even though I experienced that, even growing up, I still experienced negative shit. My mother used to, when she used to get mad, and not at us, when she used to argue with my stepfather, she used to break the dishes. There was a lot of anger in the house growing up. She used to break the dishes. You know what I'm saying? That's as far as I used to see with the anger of my mother. She used to break the dishes. We used to argue with my And then the way she used to reprimand me was, my mother used to beat my ass. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm not gonna say I was a fucking peaches and cream, you know? Or I was a problematic child, because I wasn't either. But I was a child. You know what I'm saying? A highly sensitive child. So my mother used to beat my ass because I used to get in trouble a lot. And when I used to cry, and I used to get into that, when I used to do that, because she used to beat my ass until I got into that point. She used to beat me until I got to that. She would beat my ass more. That my sister would have to come and take me away and tell me to be quiet and try to calm me down because my mother was going to come beat me more if she heard that sound. You know, I was raised right. I'm not going to say I was raised wrong. My mother didn't raise me wrong. I wasn't really raised in a violent ass household. But my mother did have some violent tendencies, like I said, with the damn breaking of the dishes and the beating of our asses. But kids, back in the day, I'm an 80s baby. We got our ass beat. So that's nothing unusual. That's very common for back in the day. You used to get your ass beat by your parents. So that's not abuse. That's discipline. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that my mother abused me because she didn't. But she was she did discipline my ass a bit too much. And don't get it twisted, I was very talkative. I was a very outspoken child. Okay? At a very young age. And my mother used to call me, and my grandmother used to call me my cria. I forget how you say that in English. I don't know how you say that in English. All I know is in Spanish. So my grandmother used to call me my cria. My mouth, something with my mouth. Hot mouth, hot head, whatever. I was very unfiltered and outspoken as a child. Point blank. Okay? And I used to get in trouble for that. All the time. I got in trouble. All the time. I used to get in trouble for talking back. So, you know, I grew up okay. But the times that I didn't grow up okay, my mother didn't pay attention to me. Like, let's say, for instance, school. I used to get bullied in school. A lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And not only did I get bullied in school, but I had to come home and get bullied in my home. So I was being bullied when I went to school. I was being bullied in my own neighborhood. I was being picked on by this fucking girl that didn't like me for I don't know why. And she would always want to fight me every summer. Every fucking summer the bitch came to visit her cousin. Her cousin lived under me. Every time she would want to fight me every summer. And I know the damn neighbors downstairs from me did not like me, because when I was young and my mother used to beat my ass, I used to stomp up and down. Maybe that's why they sent my upstairs neighbors to stomp up and down. But when I was young and my mother used to hit me, I used to stomp up and down in the house. And the downstairs neighbors used to be so mad because they had a chandelier in their apartment. So they used to bang upstairs every time I jumped up and down. But my mother was beating my ass. So they didn't like me much. So, but as far as childhood goes, you know what I'm saying? I got my ass beat, but it was okay. You know, I not too much went on. You know, I had my little discipline shit, but you know, my stepfather was involved. I had a stepfather, grew up with a stepfather. You know, there might have been a little abandonment issue there when he left. You know what I'm saying? And then I grew up knowing that I had a father, but didn't know, had no awareness of my father. And then, you know what I'm saying? So I had abandonment issues growing up as too. I had father wounds. I had abandonment issues when it comes to fathers. I was depressed. I want to cry. Because I'm just thinking about, it makes me want to cry now. Because me as an adult, and to sit back and think about my life is like, damn. Like, damn. I went through a lot alone by myself. Nobody to talk to. Nobody to, no shoulder to lean on. No mother, no father, no sister, no brother to talk to. I had nobody. Literally, I had no one. And when I would go talk to someone, which would be my mother, maybe when I was younger, she gave me, instilled confidence in me. Because when I was young, I used to have a low self-esteem. I used to be a big girl. So I used to have a low self-esteem. And when I used to feel low, I used to go to my mother all the time. Man, I was a sad little girl. Now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me want to cry. I'm crying for myself. Literally, I'm crying for my inner child. And that little girl was so hurt and in pain. I haven't cried in a long time. And I refuse to cry because I'm tired of crying. And before crying, it used to have me all up in my emotions and emotional. But now, I don't feel that way now. I know crying, I'm releasing where I've been holding on to. And I've really been holding on to this because I've been trying to give my mother the benefit of the doubt because I love her so much. And I just want her to heal from her own wounds. And I really wanted to help her, but I can't. Because if I help her, then I destroy myself. But my mother thinks so horrible of me. It's so sad. She thinks real bad of me. It's that. And anyway, let's just keep recapping a child. So I'm not saying my childhood was the worst, but I did get reprimanded. I did get reprimanded. You know what I'm saying? And my mother, in back in the day, I used to see a lot of, between my sister and my mother, I saw a lot of men. I'm not saying that my mother was a hoe or not, but I saw men, you know, in my house. You know, my mother had a lot of friends. She had a lot of male friends. So I saw a lot of men in my house. Between my sister and my mother. And I'm not saying my mother didn't have female friends, but I don't know if the men that was in the house that they would come if she was dating them or they were just a friend. There was about 3 to 4 people that I've seen growing up in my life. And out of those 3 to 4 people that my mother dated, 2 of them, she turned her back. One of them, when I was a child, I don't know, maybe she really liked him. Maybe she really liked him. He used to work in a Woolworth. He used to work in the Woolworth. So my mother used to go see him in Woolworth. So there was one time me and my mother were supposed to go. I had to be like 11, 12. I was a preteen. I wasn't too young, but I was old enough. So I was a preteen. I had to be like 12, 13 years old or something like that. 12 or 13. 11, 12 or 13. I had to be something like that. And me and my mother, we had this thing, like I said, me and my mother, we had a bond. Me and my mother would do things. We would go to the amusement park. We would go to the beach. We would do things. My mother was a person that she would do traditional things with me and my sister. Like on the weekends, it was like a Chinese movie day or Wendy's. We go to Wendy's and eat at Wendy's, and it was like we had certain things we did. On Easter, with the family, we used to go bowling with certain people from the family, like my uncle and my cousin. That's my cousin. That's my / god sister. My uncle, that's my godfather, and his wife at the time. We will all, and my stepfather time, we will all go every Easter, dress up every Easter and go bowling in the bowling alley that was by 161st Street. Well, if you're from New York and from the Bronx, then you know what I'm talking about. There was a bowling alley by the Yankee Stadium. There was a bowling alley that was attached to the Yankee Stadium. Everybody knows Yankee Stadium baseball, even if you don't live in New York. There was a bowling alley which no longer exists. But we used to go to that bowling alley every Easter when I was a child. Get dressed up with my cousin and my stepfather, my mother, and all that. We used to go. Every Puerto Rican Day parade, we was going to the parade. You know, we had things we would do like ritualistically, tradition, family-wise, gatherings with family. That's how I grew up. I grew up very family-orientated. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's gatherings, family reunion gatherings, birthday party gatherings, depending on whose birthday it was, and they was doing something. Halloween, my mother did Halloween party, dress up parties all growing up. She threw parties in her house, and you couldn't come to the house unless you had a costume on. My mother was the person to party. Every Halloween, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every New Year, and her birthday, and my birthday. And my birthday was thrown in a park. She threw big parties for me in the park on my birthday. For my sister, she did her parties. I grew up very loved. I'm not saying that I did it with a lot of love. I want to cry. Oh, collective, I hate crying. I really do. The reason this was brought on, because my mother sent me an email yesterday, and she has a habit of putting other people into other people's business. So like if I email her something, she has a habit of, if I'm talking or having a conversation with her that has nothing to do with my sister, my mother has a habit of inviting everybody, my sister, my son, my nephews, my niece, into the whole conversation. And she does one whole group chat, one whole group email, and then she attacks us all. And then she does the same thing with my sister. My sister will communicate with her. I haven't talked to my mother in months. My sister must have emailed her, and she emails me and she brings me into the conversation. And I'm like, stop doing this. Stop bringing me into this shit when I got nothing to do with it. I'm minding my business. Y'all treated me like y'all don't want me in my life. Then I remove myself out of your energy. Right? And then I was like, and then since they had me in the email, I was like, fuck it. Since you got me in the email, fuck, you know what? Fuck it, collective. I'm going to read the email. Why not? I'm going to briefly go through them, so y'all can understand why this message is coming to pass. Because I cannot deal with this anymore, and going back and forth with my mother I'm not doing it no more. If she wants to come watch this video, I hope she does, so she could hear me express myself a little bit better, because email is not doing it. So my mother emailed me because my sister emailed her. So since she had me in the email, I said, since I'm in the email, I'm going to speak my mind, right? And I broke it down to everybody, because it's like, these people act like I'm the one that's supposed to fix everything, and I'm the one that's supposed to do this. She's the mother. You know what I'm saying? She's the mother. Act like a fucking mother. Anyway. So, I decided to take advantage and speak my mind in the email. And I did. Because my mother emailed me telling me about how she got an invitation from my cousin, or from my cousin's mother, which is my god sister, about a sigil or a visual or something about her brother, because her brother passed away. This is the same cousin that texts me on Instagram talking about that I know what you've been up to, trying to accuse me of her life being fucked up. This is the cousin I'm talking about. So I sent my mother a message that told her I don't talk to that family or fuck with that family, because I know what they done, and I haven't spoken to them in over 3 years. And that the death of her brother is not gonna make us connect. And then I was like, and then I told her, since y'all got me on the email, since you want to attach me to the email, I'm gonna speak my mind, and I don't really care how anybody feels. And that's exactly what I said. I said, but since you want to include me, here's some hard truth. I said, all of you are fake. And I said, I don't got time for bullshit, conditional toxic. I said, I don't have time. I said, all of you are fake. And that means my mother, my son, and my sister, and anybody else connected to them. I said, all of you are fake, and I don't got time for bullshit, conditional toxic love. I said, I love y'all, but y'all all delusional, how y'all think and see shit. I said, there are people who are actually losing family, and y'all already act like, yeah, everybody ever treats each other like we already dead. Look, something's going on with my fucking text, my email, as I'm trying to read it to you. Huh. I said, there are people who are actually losing family, and y'all already act like that when we still alive and breathing. And I said, it's sad, to be honest. I said, none of you two adults, mother and sister of mine, make any real effort. And then I said, and you know what? Let me exclude my mother because my mother tries to make an effort. Like I said, I'm not going to take away from my mother. I will not take away from my mother's effort or what she has done. I will never do that. Ever. So I said, none of you two adult, mother and sister of mine, make any real effort. And you know what? I said, let me exclude mother because she tries and she has tried. I said, so the main energy sister doesn't make any real effort. I said, but let's spit some real facts. And I said, I don't care if you don't like my words, but it's truth. I said, Lee, my son, this is my son. I said, neglected, spoiled, disrespectful, to the point he's hurting, he's hard-headed, still learning and growing, but picked up bad toxic habits because of what he has experienced around him, but a smart kid and has to grow, and he has to grow fast. I said, my sister. I said, selfish, distant, a gaslighter, fake love, and full of secrets. I said, my sister lives closer, and I understand. And I said, I understand it was for the job and not for us, but I would think that you would come to help out more. You would, but no, you've been here for a while, and we never been to home. We don't know where she lives. We don't know her address. We don't have her address, and we don't know where she lives. All right, and I said, and that right there says a whole lot. You don't call or check up on anyone but claim to love us. That's what I said. And then I put my mother. I said, unhealed, entitled, controlling, judgmental, and narcissistic. I said, let's start by saying this based on what you wrote. I said, no one is taking what you have done from you. Yes, you did what you could. Work made sure we had a roof, food, and a safe place to stay. Loved or some form of love. And I'm not saying you didn't provide or try your best, but you didn't try hard enough emotionally. This is what I told her. You didn't try hard enough emotionally. Then I tell her, you played victim like you played no part, and shit blows. And I said, and shit blows my mind. You take no accountability or even bother to look at what you have done wrong or for situations to be in where it's at. I said, instead of saying, I accept the fact, how about you fix it so you don't lose your family and stop making excuses that you're stuck in your ways when you can change. You just choose not to. I said, blaming your age don't work. I said, words are spells. I keep telling you, and you just make it life harder instead of understanding. I said, you don't want to hear it, but you're drinking rants and thinking that you know it all or our lives when you don't. I said, that pushes us away. And instead of owning that shit, you go and you shut the door and play the victim and guilt trip with, I did everything I could for you, but you did, but I said, did you really though? And then I said, I'm not even going to keep on with you, mother, because there's a lot I have to say. And you continue to show me that you're not ready to listen to me. Listen to me or know me just by the statement in your email, and not sure if it was directed to me or not, but most of the time, I'm the one getting attacked verbally, directly, or indirectly. I said, you added me to this email. You added me to this email. I didn't send just so you can say something to me. So yes, and anyway, to end this email, I said, none of you take accountability for the energy you put out, for any bad behavior and the lack of love or concern, and then blame everyone else or feel away when none of you do it. So don't have the right to voice an opinion or complain. I say you all selfish and lack empathy for one another, and I'm tired of being the only one giving out love and not getting it back. I said all of you suck, and I personally don't have the time for fake, toxic, conditional love. I'm over the dysfunctional family dynamic. I'm healing and would be great if everyone else could too. I would love my family. I want to cry. I said, I would love my family back because I do miss you guys, but I will not lower or stop my healing or stop voicing my spiritual shit. I don't do the love based on conditions or who have no care, concern, or consideration for people's feelings or situations. I said, I love unconditionally. So I'm the one who will see if y'all allowed back in my life. And if it's sincere, because I did nothing to any of you. All I ever wanted was my fucking family, but my family turned their back on me, left me for dead, literally fed me to the wolf and left me alone and fed alone. No help, no support from any of you. And then I said 20, 50, and a once in a blue moon grocery shopping here and there, and barely, rarely, it is not love. What I needed y'all the when I needed you the most, I had to become a one-man show because all of you pushed me away with your actions. So words don't make shit if you can't hold your words. So all of that I love you means nothing. Actions speak louder than words, and none of you show giving my energy away for free to people who don't value or appreciate the love that I have given or do give. I said, I've been the only one trying, and I'm done trying. I'm going to continue to love myself more instead, since I don't get real love or support from family that's still alive and breathing, but treat each other like we don't exist. I said, God forbid, I could have passed away and none of you would have known. I could have moved and you wouldn't have known it. And it's the truth. And it's the truth. It's not a lie. You want to know how she responded? You want to know how she responded? She said, yeah, let's agree. Let's spit some truth and facts. I'm not going to go through all the whole thing because everything is not for to be heard. But she was going to give us some keys, and now she's not giving us the keys. I don't know, to the house. I don't know. And then she said, let's address this, Sam. I'm going to read you what she's addressing to me. She says, let's address this, Sam. You almost got some kudos until you wrote this. Your mother-daughter takeaway is that I didn't try hard enough, so let me get this straight. You want more out of me, Liam, Erica, and Eminem's than what you haven't nor are willing or can equally provide. She said, like, what the fuck? That's a no. You get what your life invests and give. I have supported and provided much more for you before and after my son, and I prevented your son from going to strangers. It took. Let me stop on that. She said she prevented my son from going to strangers. Do you know why my mother had to step up? Right? Because when I had my son and I would ask her for help, I was calling her mother for help in the middle of the night because I didn't know what to do with my son. And she, having 2 children of her own, I would think that she's the best person to give me advice. You know what she would tell me when I would call her when my son was crying, asking her what I could do for my son because he's crying? She would tell me, I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out yourself. I'm not lying neither. I called her one time and in the middle of the night, stressed the fuck out. And she told me, I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out. She would come visit my house, even though she would come visit my apartment, even though she was helping with the apartment. She would come to my apartment. She wouldn't change a diaper. She wouldn't feed him. She stood 10, 20 minutes, talked, brought me either some food or brought me some money or brought me something for him, smoked her cigarette. Mind you, I didn't want her to smoke cigarettes in the house, but she still smoked her fucking cigarette in my house. And then she would leave. The moment I would start asking for help, I asked her if she could fucking watch him real quick so I could take a shower. Nope. And I'm not exaggerating. And she could sit there and say, no, that's a lie. And she could sit there and not believe it. But I swear to God, this is my experience with her. When I was giving birth and I was in pain, she was laughing at me. She wasn't comforting me and soothing me and saying everything is going to be all right. She was laughing at me when I was going through my contractions. Maybe I was laughing too, because this shit was crazy. I'm like, every fucking 2 minutes I was going through, she was laughing at me. My mother thinks, this will be a fucking 50-hour video if I talk about my mother. We're going to have to do this in parts, because this is scattered. I don't know how to talk about my mother without talking about the bad stuff. And I'm not trying to make my mother look bad, but it's like, every time She tries to sit here and tell me that I'm not 100% in giving, but neither is she. My mother made it very clear that she seems like that she tries to make it seem like I'm the problem. So what you do when you feel like you're the problem, you remove yourself so that they can no longer blame you for being the problem. And that's what I did, and I'm still the problem. It's still my fault. I'm not putting in. I'm not giving. But then when I was, it's not enough. And then my mother just, I fucked this shit. The last fucking message I sent her, my mother just asked me if I hurt my son. I was in a domestic violence relationship with a person that hurt me and my son. She knows this, and she's still asking me if I hurt my son. My mother sits here. She wants me to sit here and just to give her a justification on why she's been treating me the way she's been treating me. So if she wants to believe that I hurt my son, go ahead. If that makes her feel better for herself. She's bringing up her old husband. Like, a bunch of shit from the past. My mother's bringing up so much shit from the past. When I was a teenager, things that I did as a child, things that I did when I was a car. I'm 43 years old. Something I did on her ex-husband's camcorder when I was a little girl. She's bringing that up. Wow. I'm 43 years old. And she's bringing up things from the past. She's talking about I removed herself from her physical and spiritual protection. Bitch, I'm more powerful than you. I'm more powerful than my mother. And she thinks that she's the one that's protecting me. God protects me. And now she wants to give me credit. I know I'm strong. Bitch, you didn't give me my power. God did. I've been released my mother. My mother's over here trying to say that she's releasing me. She's out here talking about shit that I did in the past when I was 15, 16 years old. I'm 43. You have narcissistic gas me all my life that I find it hard to believe a word that comes out your mouth. Not spiritual, that's physical living of you before Liam, Jose, camcorder. Because I exposed my titties on her ex-husband's camcorder. He had a camcorder and I used to be a karmic when I was young. I used to go into my mother's shit. I used to steal shit from my mother. I used to steal her money. I used to steal her jewelry. Yeah, I was karmic when I was a teenager. Who wasn't? I was rebellious. She's bringing up something that I did when I was 14, 15 years old, 16, 17 years old, recording my titties on a camcorder. This is what she's talking about. I remember memories, record my whole life with just you. So she's just thinking about bad memories. That's all she thinks about is bad shit. That's what I get from my mother. There's not one thing that she thinks positive about me. It's all negative. That's crazy. I'm not upset. I'm just looking at the email. I'm not really reading it. I'm just skimming through it and I'm like, wow. She's telling me that I need to apologize to her and my son. My son got hurt, and that I put him in a life death situation. My life was put in a life death situation. I'm the fucking victim, and my mother's out here playing victim. I'm the one that could have been killed. I'm the one that's being tarred. I'm so done with this fucking lady. I'm really done. I was sitting here praying and hoping to get my family back, and I don't want her back. I don't want my mother in my life. All I wanted was my child, and she turned my child against me, and I don't even have my child. So I'm literally a mother with no child because my mother turned my son against me. With these words that she's saying, I know she has turned my son against me. My own son has told me things that she has done. Showing her emails, showing me responses when she comes at me, when she's narcissistic and she does this gaslighting and shit. And when I used to respond in a nasty way, he told me that she used to show him the emails to make me look like I'm the bad person. Like there's something wrong with me. My son told me all this. And she want to sit here and try to play innocent and victim. When I was the one that was used, I was the one that was, me and my son are the victim. She's not a victim. She's a victim of the circumstances because she had to play. She was forced to play the grandma role when she wasn't playing the grandma role when my son was born. You know what my mother used to do to me? My mother wants to bring up my past and my past flaws and what I used to do. And no, I'm not going to see him play like I was a fucking angel because I fucking wasn't. No, I wasn't. I had a slick mouth. I was disrespectful. I spoke back. I disrespected my mother. But my mother raised me, and she's a hypocrite. My mother raised me that if she was wrong or she did anything to hurt our feelings, that we were able to tell her about it. And she's a fucking hypocrite. Because I've been doing this my entire life. Every time my mother has done something wrong to me, I tell her and she reacts in a negative way, a violent way. And I'm going to show you a first example. When I was young, me and my mother, we were supposed to go to Coney Island. Right? And we had these shirts. And the shirts, both of the shirts was like, I'm with stupid. And one finger was pointing to her. And she had another shirt saying, I'm with stupid. And the other finger was pointing to her. That's how close me and my mother were. We were tight when we were young. So we were supposed to go to Coney Island. Or we were supposed to go somewhere. And I'm chilling and I'm waiting for my mother. And we supposed to get there at a certain time. I'm chilling, waiting for my mother, waiting for my mother. I'm like, and I'm calling my mother. I'm texting my mother. I'm like, yeah, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I don't even know we had texting or phones at that time. All I know is that I knew where she was at. She was at Woolworth. She used to date a guy. I went to Woolworth and she was there with him. Ha ha ha, giggling, ha 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 ha, all up on him. Ha ha ha. That I got so mad and I told my mother something in front of him. That my mother smacked me in my face and scarred my face with her bracelet. And right before then, a day before or 2 days before that, me and my mother had a serious conversation. And she said, I might beat your ass, but I will never disrespect your face. I will never hit you in your face. This is what my mother told me. And that day, she smacked me in my face and scarred it at the same time. That's the day I lost all respect for my mother. That's the day that I lost respect for my mother. That's the day I lost respect for her. And ever since then, I was a nasty child to her. I talked back. I disrespected her. I know the day my attitude changed with my mother. Does my mother know? No. The man she married, I didn't like him. He used to do things, sneaky things. I didn't like him. And my energy, I didn't like him. And I would tell my mother, I don't like him. You would think your parent would listen to your child when your child is telling you that you don't like the man that you have around your child? You would think that they would listen. She married him. She was in Texas, deployed because she's in the military, and the bitch got eloped. Didn't tell me or my sister. She told us on a fucking phone. Do you know how devastated I was? And then she was away, and then she made me move with the same man by myself. Didn't let me graduate my junior high school. I had to move in the middle of our graduation. With a man that I didn't like. My mother has told me that I'm not a mother. Grand Rising. My mother has called me a demon child. My mother throws what she does for me in my face. Like, she's my mother. You would think you're going to give your child money. You're not going to throw that shit in your face. You're the mother. You would think you would want to help your child if your child is going through something, right? And my mother's not a person that gives me money all the time. It's once in a blue moon. And it's not like she gives me $500, $600. Nah, it'd be $25. $50. No, it don't even be $100 like that. $100 maybe Christmas, birthday, and not even. My mother ain't never give me more than $100 ever in her life. She has paid a bill. She has paid a rent bill, and twice she spent over $100, over $500 helping me go food shopping. And that's because this whole shit when they was cutting off the food stamps. Would you ever think she helped me go food shopping before? No. My mother don't help me like she thinks she be thinking that she helps me like she does what she don't. And I'm not saying that she needs to help because she did what she can. She provided what she could. And if anything, yeah, I'm supposed to be helping my mother now. But I can't help her the way she needs me to help her. You know what I'm saying? And then because I'm not accomplished the way I'm supposed to be accomplished in her eyes. I'm a nobody. I got nothing. I'm nobody then. I ain't never get a I'm proud of you, Samantha. I don't ever get a I see you doing something. I see you doing something for yourself, Samantha. I don't get that. My mother don't support me in what I do. My mother don't promote her child. And I do a lot of things. I bake. I create. I do the spiritual shit. She don't promote nothing. My mother don't support me in anything. But they got a lot of shit to talk about how I'm not helping her. Well, maybe if you supported me a little bit, I'll be able to help you a little bit. But if you ain't showing me the support, I can't help you in any type of way. I got to help myself first before I help you. Always try to make me feel real bad about how I can't provide with my son. How I can't provide for my son. Bitch, you put me in a situation. You don't you never involved me in his shit. I don't know nothing about my child because when it comes to school shit, she excluded me in shit. I'm excluded when it comes to my son. They have private conversation. They talk about me. I know they do. My son is 20 now. He's not a child. My mother has brainwashed my son against me. And I was trying not to believe that, but it's the truth. But my son also sees my mother's true colors at the same time. And my son don't want nothing to do with my mother neither. He just using her, honestly. If you want me to be honest. This lady saying that I haven't apologized to her or my son, and haven't said how Liam got hurt that put him in life-threatening situation. Yes, I have. It says I still don't know today if you or this guy hurt Liam, and that's an unsolved condition conflict. Yes, you do. Why would you even? The first thing, my mother. Why would my mother even think that I would even abuse my child? That's wild. That shows right there that my mother really don't love me. Don't have no care, concern, that she thinks very bad about me. That shows me that I have no support from my mother at all in any way, shape, or form. That's crazy. Then she calls me a pendeja, an idiot. She calls me an idiot. She tells me, you got pregnant while I was in Iraq, got home, I paid, provided a safe space for you and your son, and you fucked that shit up. Mind you, when I was on the phone with my mother, I told her that I wasn't too sure if I was going to keep the child, and she told me to keep it. She told me to keep my child, that she was going to help me. And this was her form of help. And how I fucked it up, because I ended up meeting a man and I'm the one that got abused. So I fucked up because I ended up meeting a man and I didn't know that man was an abusive guy. So that's my fault. I'm being blamed because I didn't know a guy was abusive. I'm being blamed for falling for someone that was abusive. Why is it that the people who get abused are the ones that always get blamed? They are the ones that they don't ever get help. The abuser, the predator, never the one to blame, but it's always the ones that get abused. That we're the fucking victims, that we're the ones that get abused. We're the ones that are getting accused, but we're the abused. Make that make sense? Make it fucking make sense. This is why people who get raped and abused don't fucking tell nobody. This is why they don't reach out for help. Because people who are supposed to protect them, like your own fucking mother or your parents, don't believe you. Won't believe you. Wow. Wow. Said I provided a safe place for you and your son, and you fucked that up. Within 5 months. 2 years, lived apartment with the guy after ACS charges. Like, what the fuck? Are you forgetting you were still fucking and housing a man you claimed that hurt your child? She goes, I'm 67 years, but remember, like really, Sam, Liam lasted 5 months, 6 months after birth with you. What the fudge? Yes, this is not like a story. It's not a story I haven't told. I told my story on here. She says, you see how you were baby is mothering. You chose a man, dick, over mothering a baby when he lived in an apartment and stole from you until I refused to pay after I found out he was living with you. Seriously, narcissistic. She says, seriously, narcissistic deflecting munch. Glad we're exposing it all. It's healing. Maybe not for you, but for me. Well, I'm going to do my way of healing, and I'm going to get on the camera because this is my form of healing. I'm not going to go and do a back and forth email with her. She's sitting there talking about past, but don't even know the past. You think my mother even bothered to sit down and talk to me after everything happened? No, she didn't. My mother just went and assumed her own feelings and didn't even bother to sit down and talk to me and see if her daughter was okay. I'm automatically was accused as the abuser. My own mother turned on me in court. And my mother really wants me to believe that she loves me. She truly wants to gaslight me to make me think that she loves me. And this is how she is talking. Instead of coming to me and talking to me and asking me, right, what happened? No. She goes to her assuming, and assuming makes an ass of people when you assume shit. Created this warped story in her head, and I'm guessing because she didn't listen, because I spoke to my mother and told my mother's story, she still put her own story in her head and decided to treat me the way she wanted to treat me. So this is why I got treated the way I'm treated. Because this whole fucking 20 years, my son is 20 years, so for a whole 20 years, she thinks I abused my son. Wow. I sent her an email telling her about pain and hurt, and this is how she responds. She responded, sure, in your head, anything said about you and what you've done is irrelevant. It's only what you have solo experience. That is center stage. Who's narcissistic? Yeah, out. We aren't going to deal with your bullshit, but we still love you, mom. No, you don't. Then I told her, you're the one deflecting. You can't even take accountability for your actions or wrongdoings, the toxicity, the negativity, and always want to point out mine and put me down. And I said, no, you don't love me. Just stop it. I said, you don't know how to love me. You can't possibly love me when your run loves unconditional. That's not love. I said, no, I'm not going to deal with your bullshit. You turned my son against me and it's all good. And I said, I wish you the best. And then I put, when faced with the truth, you deflected it into defensiveness. Instead of hearing my pain, you shifted it to criticism and fault finding. Predictive narcissistic behavior. Is this what I'm telling her? You're emotionally immature and you have unresolved issue wounds you need to heal, and I keep telling you that. I wasn't trying to take away from what you provided. I was trying to explain how I felt emotionally growing up and present. But when my feelings are met with your criticism, it confirms that the pain I was trying to share, you don't care. I'm not asking you to agree, only to understand that this is my experience. But instead I get insulted. You try to put me down, throw in my face what I haven't done or what I don't, or what I have accomplished. But all good. I guess your mother did it to you, so you criticize, made me feel unseen, unloved, and demonize your gifts, so it's only right for you to do it to me. I guess to keep it going. But instead of breaking the cycle, I said, well, I'm breaking the cycle and removing myself from someone who doesn't want it to heal or take accountability for her toxic ways, but real quick to deflect, to project, and throw someone under the bus to feel justified about her actions. You want control and war, and I'm not with it. You make excuses that you are stuck in your ways, and that's a lie. You choose not to change. You know what she responds? She responded, rolling on the floor, Pepa pendeja, that I chose a man and I chose dick. That's how she responded after that message, collective. And then she responds to, then she goes, then I responded, wow, I have no response. When she responded, she said, she hit me up and she said, she messaged me and I put, wow. And then she said, yeah, I say wow too, that you still haven't apologized to me and Liam and haven't said what you did. And I'm like, what I did. And then she says, fuck all the emails. She says, fuck all the emails. Did you hurt your son? And I'm like, I said, then I told her, wow, I have no response to this at all. I said, wow, no doubt. I said, Mom, no doubt. Believe what you want. If you believe I did it to feel better on how you've treated me, go ahead. She puts, isn't it crazy? It's unresolved mystery on how my son truly got hurt. She says, you have narcissistic gas me. I already read that to you. Yeah. She's crazy. You know what my mother used to do? We used to get into an argument, and it had to do with me and her. You know what you should do? She used to call the police on me. Or she used to stop me from seeing my son for months, 2 months. Mind you, it had nothing to do with my son. But she used to stop me from seeing my son for 2 months, 3 months. She used to call the cops on me. There was one time that all I wanted to do was talk to my mother. Literally, I was crying, begging my mother to listen to me before she went away. And she called the cops on me. I wasn't hitting her. I wasn't cursing her out. I was literally crying on the floor. And she called the cops on me. She used to embarrass me. Family gatherings on the holidays when the family was there. Yeah. My mother really tried to play me. And all this time, I've been trying to give her the benefit of doubt. Telling her my mother's a strong woman. I'm strong because of her. And I'm not saying that I'm not. But I've been sitting here painting a little pretty picture for my mother. And ain't nothing pretty about her. She's very toxic. She gets drunk. She attacks me. Attacks my son. Verbally. Look. Never had all my life ill will. Uh-huh. No, you don't. My mother don't get that spell. My mother don't get that the way she thinks about me is spell work. How she talks about me is spell work. She don't get it. She says, you want me off and out. I remove all my Samantha Sergeant protection. Bitch, you don't protect me. God does. She says, I spiritually release you. Do you know I don't care. Good. I'm glad I'm spiritually released from my mother. I'm glad that the bond is out. I no longer have ties. She's the one that's been stopping me. I've been trying to figure out who is. It's her. She's been holding me. I'm glad she released me. Now I can move on with my fucking life. My mother stayed trying to gaslight me, love bombing. I love you this, I love you that, but this, but that. You only love with condition, and that's not love. I've been being spiritually attacked. My mother doesn't believe that I've been targeted. She don't believe that I've been targeted. She don't believe that spell work is being done on my life. She don't believe it. So this is where we at. Everything in my life I did on my own, and I'm the fuck up. And I'm not saying that I don't take responsibility for some things, because everything is not spell work. But most of it is, since I've tapped into my spirituality and been on my spirituality, I've noticed that a lot of things that have happened in my life has been to spell work. And whatever they did, I guess is working. They wanted me to have no relationship with my mother. It worked. They wanted me to not have a relationship with my son. It worked. Congratulations. You have removed my family from me. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. Are you happy? For whoever's doing the spell work, are you happy? I hope it makes you happy. You happy you got some tears out of me? But at the end of the day, that's not gonna stop me from moving forward. And I'm not gonna crawl up in the corner and die like you thought I was. And I'm not gonna stop myself, and I'm not gonna stop myself from pushing it forward because you do a spell work to remove everybody from my life. I've been giving my mother the benefit of the doubt, making her look good, and I'm done. My mother has not been a real mother to me. And she wants kudos and points. And whether this is spiritual work, whether this is spell work that's being done on her, or if this is who she just is in general, it doesn't even matter at this point. It don't matter if my mother is being puppeted by spell work because of her own unhealed trauma, or if this is just who she is and she's a narcissist. However the situation goes, or the scenario goes, or the story goes, when it comes to her, I was not treated right. My mother knew I was a gifted child, a very highly sensitive child, and she still treated me wrong. My mother knew that I had abandonment issues and still treated me wrong. You would think that you would know that your child is gifted and is sensitive and emotional. You would be there more emotionally for your child than you weren't. You decided to be a soldier because you were an army person. You decided to soldier your children. We're not soldiers. We were your children. And I'm not boys. I'm a girl. This is why I didn't grow up girly. I grew up a tomboy. Very tomboyish. I grew up playing with muds and climbing fences. I grew up playing ding dong ditch. I grew up playing with Barbie and Ken. I grew up playing with Barbies and Transformers and G.I. Joes. I didn't grow up in a prissy way. I grew up rough. I had it rough. Very rough. Nothing easy about how I grew up. There's shit that my mother don't know that I experienced. You know what I'm saying? It's like parents out here, they be sitting here thinking they know their child, but they don't know their children. My mother watched so much fucking TV, but yet she fucking missed them. She missed the whole shit. Missing her own dysfunction in her own family. She watches all these Hallmark movies and all this shit, but yet you don't even see the function in the family. You don't see what you're doing to your own children, your own grandchild, to your own family. You watch these movies. You watch these type of movies. She watches these type of movies, Collective. She really does. I grew up with a very toxic mother. I grew up with a mother that made me feel like I wanted to kill myself. My mother made me suicidal. That's the first person in my life that made me want to kill myself. Was my mother. My mother is the first person that made me want to remove my life off this earth because I felt like I did not belong. My mother has made me feel so unwanted and still makes me feel unwanted to this day. And she thinks I want to be a part of her life. And I try so hard, but she continues to show me. She continues to show me. My mother has told me that I'm not a mother. My mother has called me a demon child. My mother has said so many harsh things to me. It's incredible. And you would think I would turn over and die, right? I almost did. I almost did. My mother has thrown the Bible at me. I ran away one time. I didn't run away. I just wasn't where she left me. Because this is how it went down. So my mother had dropped me off. I was supposed to sleep over this girl's house, right? From school. And they played me. They embarrassed me. When I went to go show up, they said I wasn't invited. Then there was another time. That's a different story. There was one time, that's a different story. Excuse me, collective. There was a time that I was supposed to sleep over my homegirl's house. And me and her got into an argument. Right? So what I did was, I ended up going to this guy's house that I met in Chile there. And I spent like 3 days there. We're chilling. No sex, no nothing. He was the most respectful person I have ever met. I don't even remember his name. I wish I could remember his name. But I remember the experience. His mother was a beautiful person. His family was a beautiful people. And I spent there 3 days. I was there 3 days. And I don't remember his name, man. Damn, I don't remember his name. But all I remember that while I was there 3 days, all this nigga did was work on beats and show me how to do beats. That's why I like music a lot now and beats. Cause he sat there and was showing me how to make beats back when I think it was I don't know if it was the PlayStation. It was some game system that had a game that you can make beats. And that's what we did. I sat there and just talked. We just talked to him. We talked and we made beats. We talked and we made beats. And I don't know if back in the day, I don't know if I was smoking bud at that time. I'm not too sure if I was or not. But I remember that. I remember that experience. And his mother was so cool. He was Hispanic. He was a big, when I met him, he was big. Like, he was a big guy. He wasn't skinny, but then he showed me pictures of his past. And his past, he was one motherfucking good-looking ass motherfucker. So, yeah. And that was a brief experience. And after that, I never met him again. I never seen him again. I never seen him again. And he was such a good, I remember. But anyway, from that experience, I came home. When I tell you my whole room was outside of my room, every single thing was outside of the room. My papers, my clothes, my dirty laundry, everything was in the living room, on the table. And I'm like, what the fuck? My mother thought I ran away. She thought I ran away. That's how she found out that I wasn't a virgin. That's how she found out I wasn't a virgin. That's how she found out that I would smoke marijuana and I was drinking. Because I used to write in the diary. And because of that, I no longer write in the diary. I no longer write my feelings down anymore. Because of that. So, my mother thought I ran away. because I was gone for 3 days. Because she went to the girl's house and I wasn't there. But instead of asking me what happened, she just assumed I ran away. There's a time I could have died because I met this girl. There's this girl I used to talk to on the walkie-talkie, my friend. And I met up with her to meet her in person. And the first time I meet up with her was the day before Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. And there was a big old car accident. The day before Thanksgiving, I met her in the middle of the night. Because I used to, like I said, I used to be rebellious. I used to walk out of the middle of the night on my house when my mother was sleeping. I used to sneak out. And doing that, I almost died. Then I came home all fucked up. My pants was all ripped. All I know is I went to sleep and I didn't want to wake up. And my mother came in the room and I had to tell her what happened because I was so fucked up. I was so fucked up. It wasn't even funny. I've been bullied all my life, talked about all my life. People have trashed my name all my life. And I have dealt with all these things by myself. My mother not knowing my experiences, my mother not knowing my mother not knowing anything. Just looking on the outside and seeing on the outside. Never getting to know her child, never trying to figure out her child, just automatically assuming that her child is a wild child, assuming that her child is a bad person, assuming just a bunch of assumptions when it came to my mother, to me. My mother never sat down, really, to fucking ask me if everything was okay with me. No. The first thing she want to do is take me to a fucking psychiatrist. Instead of being a mother and sitting down talking to me, she want to take me to doctors. Thinking that my problem was because of my father. Thinking that I had abandonment issues and then depressed because of my father. And that was part of the problem. But she didn't even fucking take into account that she was part of the problem. And every conversation is always the same. My mother doesn't listen. She talks, but she don't listen. And that is a nasty habit that I do also have sometimes. And I will admit that. Because I have been told that by more than one person. And when you're told that by more than one person, then it's a me thing, not a dumb thing. So that's a nasty habit that I have picked up from my mother. Is talking and not listening sometimes. And I will agree and admit to that. I will agree to that. That is one habit I picked up from her. My son does the same thing. That's a bad habit that we picked up from her. Though my sister is the only one that don't have the habit. Why? Because my sister left. My sister moved. My sister wasn't around the bullshit like we were. So my sister has her own toxic ways, but it's not like my mother. My sister, she just shuts you out and removes you out of her life. That's what my sister does. She just cuts you off and removes you out your life like you don't exist. That's how my sister gets down. My sister's very selfish. She don't care about your feelings. She only cares about hers. And I get it, because my sister had to fend for herself as well. But my sister moved. She decided to leave and move because she couldn't deal with my mother. And at the time, she was in a relationship with somebody that she was able to move. She moved with another family. Her boyfriend's family. So when I was young, my sister got up and left me in the middle of me going through what I was going through. I didn't finish. I was still in school. I was about to graduate. So she wasn't even around for my graduation when I graduated. Collective, hard talking about this. This is very, 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 very hard talking about this. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying, and I'm trying to do it without crying. I really am. It's crazy. I love my mother a lot, but my mother thinks so wrong of me. And that hurts a little bit. But it's okay. Because now I'm free, collective. I really am free. From the judgment, from everything. Now I don't owe my mother nothing. I don't got to worry about giving her anything or doing anything for her. Because I'm not going to lie, my mother wanted this house, and I was really trying to help her get that house. When I got whenever my fortune came to me, I was really going to get her the house that she wanted. But I'm going to focus on myself. I tried, collective. Maybe that's what's been holding me back, because I've been still trying to hold on to hoping for a relationship with my mother. Hoping that she heals. Praying that she heals. And that's all I could do, is pray that she heals. I really do. Because my mother is not a bad person. She really isn't a bad person. In any way, shape, or form. But because my mother is unhealed, she's not allowing me to heal. She's stuck on this past version of me that I am no longer. And she don't want to let it go. She's just thinking about all the bad stuff. And that's what she's holding on to. And there's nothing that I can do that's going to make her change her way, change her mind, to look at me in a different way. So, I don't know if there's going to be a part 2 to this. Because I am truly done with this energy. I'm very thankful for what my mother has done. And I will never take that away from my mother. That's one thing that I won't do. But I'm not going to sit here and continue to allow her to use my past against me, to insult me, to make me feel bad in any way, shape, or form because of the situations I've been in my past. Yeah, I was a rude child. I was a disrespectful child. I was a wild child, and not a wild child like that, but you know, I was rebellious. I freaking talked back to my mother. I used to steal her money, things like that. You know what I mean? I freaking fucking didn't come home on time when I was supposed to. Nothing fucking crazy. My mother's making it seem like I was some fucking wild child, crazy fucking kid that got arrested here and there and was robbing Tom, Paul, and you know what I'm saying? Like the way my mother's making it seem is like I was a hoodlum in the street. And my mother didn't raise, I was unable to be a hoodlum in the street. My mother raised me off of fear. had to come home at 6 o'clock. When I got older, I had to come home at 10 o'clock. And then, and if I got anything later, it was at 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock, it was a no-no. I rebelled coming home at 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. My curfew, the latest curfew I had was 11 p.m. at 18 years old. 11 p.m. I had to be home. I'm the one that rebelled and skipped after 12, 1, 2 o'clock. And because I was right there in the neighborhood, right around the corner. I wasn't far. You know what I'm saying? My mother restricted me a lot. I have no experience. I don't have experiences. My son has experiences, and I'm not jealous of that. I'm fucking glad he has experiences. Because my child was a shy child. He didn't interact with people. So I'm glad my mother gave him them experiences. Because if she didn't give him the experiences, then he would be still a shy, timid person. My child overcame shit faster than I did. Because I was there to help him and give him some hints and clues about my mother. So he was able to overcome certain things easier and faster and come to an understanding when it came to her. Me, I didn't have nobody. I didn't have my sister there. I didn't have another brother or sister. Me, myself, and I. And the only person that I had in my life to run to about my mother was my grandmother. And half of the time I didn't run to my grandmother because my grandmother was already old to be dealing with the shit that I was going through with my mother. But there was times when I had no choice, that I had nobody, that my grandmother was the only one that I went to. And then when my grandmother would defend me, my mother would argue with her own mother and stop talking to her own mother when my grandmother used to defend me. I'm this bad child, but I'm this to my mother, but I used to tell my mother I love you every night. I couldn't go to sleep without telling my mother I love you every night. Even as a grown-ass child, I couldn't go to sleep without calling and picking up that phone and calling and telling my mother that I loved her. This was traditional for me. This was ritualistic for me. It was a habit. I was obsessed with my mother. Obsessed with her. I literally was obsessed with my mother. I loved my mother so much. I looked up to my mother so much. I thought she was a fucking saint. She did so much. That's how I looked up to my mother. She did so much for us. She does so much. And all I want to do is see my mother happy. I used to be so happy when my mother used to go out dancing, because my mother likes to dance salsa. And I used to get so excited and so, oh my gosh, so hyped when she used to go out, get dressed to go dancing, because my mother, she could dress. So she used to get dressed. I used to sit there in awe, watching her get dressed, putting on her shoes. You know, like, you know, you see in the movies, little girls going in the mama's shoes, putting the shoes. That was me. Just like the movies. In my mama's closet, putting on her shoes, walking out the closet and with her shoes while she's getting ready, getting dressed. Just like the motherfucking movies. I looked up to my mother. It excited me. It made me happy that she was going out and having fun, because she worked so hard. But I'm selfish. It took me a long time to get over my mom issues. And though it hurts to let go of people that you love, sometimes you have to. Because they're the ones causing you the pain. And then they don't want to sit and take accountability for their actions and their wrongs. And I'm done being blamed. I'm done being blamed for my past and my past actions. Because I am not my past, and my past doesn't define me, and my past did not make me into a bitter person. My past didn't make me angry. And I didn't stay in a karmic energy. I'm not out here cursing people out. I'm not out here fighting battles. Or I'm not doing these things. I used to sit there and argue with people. I'm not doing that no more. Them days is over. And as soon as I started being more spiritual and started providing knowledge to my mother and my son when it comes to spirituality, this is when she started, this is when she wants to go in this, I'm a bigger witch, or I'm a bigger spiritualist than you. I know better. I'm older. I got more experience. This is how she talks to me. That I don't know nothing. That I can't heal nobody if I'm not healed. She thinks I'm not healed. Mind you, she brings up my past, and all I'm telling her is I wish she could heal. And every message, all I tell her is, I hope you could heal. And she just brings up any scenario from my past that still lingers in her head. You know what's crazy? The parents, if you got kids, I advise you to start listening to your kids more clearly. Stop ignoring the signs. Because when I tell you they're there for you to see and you just ignore them, they're there. But parents refuse to see that they're the fucking problem. Because they provide a roof over their head, children's head, and food in their mouth, and all they believe that they have done everything they can for their child. But have you really done everything for your child? And she's mad because emotionally she hasn't. Physically, financially, she has provided. Emotionally, she hasn't. And then she wants to attack me because I'm telling her the fucking truth. There we go, look. That's her. She says she's not watching my videos until we physically interview Tim Crawford. What she thinks she gonna... His name is Tim Crawford. You're gonna believe somebody that's not related to you over your own daughter. I'm so done. I'm not done responding. I'm done responding. She done gave me so many emails. She keeps saying love you, love you, love you. No. Anyway, collective, I'm done.